Alright, good evening, kids. What's going on with all of you? I'm gonna try something a little bit different tonight. I wanted to explore the alt account thing a little bit more. If you were with me last night, you remember I played some drops with each one of my 4 accounts in the game. A couple of those accounts I rarely, if ever, look at. In fact, one of those accounts was created specifically for the trollers that were in game about a year ago. And they were just doing all the team killing and stuff. There was a post on Outreach HPG yesterday that kind of got me interested. And there was yet even another one today that got me interested about quality of life in the lower tiers. And me being a long-time player of the game, even with my lowest tier alt account that I worked with last night was upper tier 4. And I was like, okay, so let's sink it down even further. Let's create a brand spanking new account and see what life is like for players all the way down at the bottom in tier 5. This means that in prime time, as it is right now, when we have the maximum population in game, in theory, the only players I will drop with are tier 5 and tier 4 players. So, and then I started expanding on that more. Like, well, wait a minute. If I'm going to start a brand new account, why don't I go over some of the very basic steps that every new player should do when they first launch the game? So that's where we are going to start. And as you can see from my screen, especially if I go to this screen, it's kind of small right now. This is how it launches when you first launch it. It's not even in full screen mode. Brand new account will be tier 2 in 5 games. Okay, so yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm actually streaming this on Twitch. And so I will be responding to my Twitch chat. I will make sure this video is saved on my Twitch channel, so if you want to go back and watch it again, with my always funny Twitch audience and their sometimes outrageous comments, please feel free. I also need to make sure I start my bot too, because I didn't do that. Alright, so when you first launch the game, this is what you get. You get a day of active premium time for the account creation, and when it launches in windowed mode. So we have to start correcting that right away, because I want to play this game in 1080p, which is the most my monitor will do. So obviously you acknowledge the fact that you received your premium time. You get 1 day of it. I really think PGI should extend that to 2 or 3 days. Really get those players hooked in the beginning, but I don't make those decisions. That's just my personal opinion. But 1 day is good if you're gonna really try it out. So you click OK on that. I better pause my music, because one of the other things a new player will experience is the in-game music, and it comes right into the tutorial. We're not going to go over the tutorial right now, but every new player should definitely, actually, you know, we'll go over the tutorial just a little bit. But first thing we're going to do is go to settings. I don't hear the MWO music though. I think that's weird. Oh, there it is, because I had to click on this on the window. So I'm gonna go into my settings, and I'm gonna start here with the basics. And I can't make that big. Well, I need to make this. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my video settings. We're gonna set this to 1080p, so you guys have a full clear picture. And I'm gonna set it to full window. We're gonna go ahead and save that right out of the gate. You need to restart the client to apply your changes. Okay, So let's go ahead and log out then. And I'm going to go to that screen so that you don't see the email. Let's get this all typed in real quick. Invalid email or password. Did something wrong. There we go. All right, and we'll go back to this screen. So now we're in the full screen mode here. And you can hear that great MWO music starting up again. This 1 day thing is a joke. In 2015, you got 7 days premium time, which seems to be fair. I would think 2 or 3 days would be good. I think that's kind of what you get in most free-to-play games. So we're back here at the launch tutorial screen. This will go away until you actually click on skip tutorial or launch tutorial, but we're gonna go back to the settings because before you do anything in this game, you need to change your settings. So back on settings, starting with just the main game settings, there are some things you're going to want to do here. You can disable the tooltips if you want. I tend to leave them on. Hide tier in the front end, which is right here. That's if you're a streamer like me and you don't want your potato tier to be known. Directional arrow for new players, I would highly suggest keeping this on. I don't keep it on my main accounts, but for brand new players, I would highly suggest keeping that on. Enable cockpit monitors. This is going to greatly depend on your GPU and your CPU. The cockpit monitors can take away a frame or two a second. If you're on a slower or older PC, you're probably going to want to go ahead and turn those off. Arm lock, go ahead and keep that on until you get used to things. Throttle decay, yes, keep that on. Start in third person, never even use third person unless you're just trying to look at your beautiful mech. Enable cockpit glass. This is a preference choice on your part. If you can see the cockpit glass, you can also see the smudges and everything that's on it, which can impair your vision just very slightly. I think it looks kind of cool personally, but you'll definitely want to look at that first before you decide. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off so I can make sure that I have better vision all around. First person field of view. You definitely want to increase this. How much you increase it is completely up to you. I like mine at right about 90, which you can see right there. I turn mine up to 90. Mouse settings, sensitivity. I don't care if you have an ultra cheap mouse or a super high-end gaming mouse. Take that mouse sensitivity and just crank it down to 0.1. which I think is as low as it goes. Yep, just put it all the way down there. Don't even mess with the in-game mouse sensitivity because it's crap. Okay, achievement notifications. Sure, leave those on. Enable team chat. Yep, you're probably gonna want to turn the all chat on, especially in these lower tiers, because the salt mongers in these lower tiers are just hilarious. Enable Lance chat. Make sure that is on. Enable chat notifications. You can turn all this stuff on and off as you see fit. The one thing that I am going to change here, it's in one of these screens, is the call to arms notification. You might as well turn that one off if you're a new player, because that call to arms notification is for faction warfare, and you can't even get into faction warfare. You can't even. I don't think they will even allow you to play faction warfare until your 20 or 25 drops in. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So, we'll go ahead and turn that off right there. Hey, Snow Girl. Now, this one down here at the bottom. Colorblind friendly reticle. I like to have this on. It makes it easier to notice when you are actually doing damage to a mech from far away. Even if I'm not colorblind, but I like to have that on. Again, that's up to you, the individual player, of whether you want that on or not, but I would suggest turning it on because it makes your reticle, it puts little extra dashes around your reticle when you actually hit a target, and that that can help you to see when you are causing damage. All right, so that takes care of the general settings. We'll go to, that's game settings. Let's go to audio. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the music down so I can turn my own music back up. Listen to my movie soundtrack by tonight, everybody. This song's from The Crow. Violent Femmes. Now, because I'm a streamer, you as a new player, you might want to keep the rest of these doohickey-majiggies up. I like to turn the game down, personally, because I'm a streamer. I don't like it to be too loud. I like to turn it down to about there, and I don't listen to the dialogue at all. A lot of people like the dialogue, though, so you may want to just go ahead and keep that up. It's the different voices that come over comms from the game. Enable VoIP, sure. Make sure all this stuff is set to what you need. I'm gonna, let's see, playback mode. Yeah, keep that in default playback device. I'm gonna make sure that this is on the right ones. Capture mode. Make sure, I mean, you can keep it at default if default works. Otherwise, you might have to adjust those depending on what kind of sound devices you have plugged into your PC. So there's the audio. Oh wait. Keep that right there. I can just turn game mode dialog off right there. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Game mode dialog. Make sure that's turned off. Alright, video. When you open up the video, we looked at video earlier for setting your resolution. I like to put mine at full window just because I have 6 monitors, and that way I can freely move my mouse between all of them. When I'm in game, my mouse doesn't travel outside of the window. It keeps it focused on the game unless I press Alt Tab. So it's actually pretty handy if you have multiple monitors. This is actually full window is actually a pretty good one to use. But when you get in the video settings, just go ahead and turn on advanced options. Now, there are plenty of people who like to see the full-blown eye candy in this game. My PC is certainly capable of handling the full-blown eye candy in this game. However, I rarely, if ever, actually do that, because when you have all that eye candy on, all the special effects and everything else, it seriously impairs your vision. The particles in the air, the explosions, the smoke, all that stuff can actually block you from being able to see things that you're trying to shoot. So most competitive players, it doesn't matter if you're competitive or not, if you just like to be able to see what you're shooting at, most competitive players have the majority of this stuff turned down to low. Object detail, high or very high. I put mine at high. Particles, low. Post-processing, low. Shading, low. Shadows, low. Texturing, I bring that up to high. Environment, low. And anti-aliasing off. So really low or off except for object detail and texturing. Those two you want up high or very high depending on your PC. Cold turkey, I don't think you understood. By turning all that stuff to low, you eliminate a lot of stuff and open up your vision a lot more. I tried it all those different ways. Trust me, I've been playing the game since 2012. I've been doing comps since 2015. I've tried all the different settings that people have tried. Those settings right there will enable the best possible visibility on any map. And if you have a potato PC, it'll also really help you squeak out a few more frames per second. Alright, so there's your video. Keyboard. Mine's already set up. This is something that actually carries over from other accounts, but this is where you can change what keys and mouse buttons you use for various things. That is completely up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to set up your keyboard. You will get used to playing the game a certain way. Pac-Man, I have not actually played a drop yet because I'm actually going over the steps for brand new players when they first launch the game. Controller, only use that if you actually use the controller, but basically after all of that you should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and click save here. Alright, so now we are back at the tutorial. If you are a brand new player to this game, if you're just launching it for the first time, if you haven't completed your first 20 or 25 cadet bonus drops yet, this is something that you're going to want to do and finish. Because every mech warrior, when they first launch the game, wants to buy their first mech. Because that's the only mech that you can truly customize the way you want. The trial mechs you get in this game, you can't customize them. You can't change them. You're stuck with what they come with. So every mech warrior is trying to get the C-bills and the XP and everything that they need to get their first mech. And by launching the tutorial and completing everything in the tutorial all the way through, you can gain 5 million C-bills. 5 million C-bills just from completing everything in the tutorial. C-bills are the in-game currency you make, even in the free-to-play mode. It's the money that everybody makes when they go into battle. MC is the currency that you have to pay for or win. 5 million C-bills. That's nothing to scoff at. And I'm debating whether or not I should go into the launch tutorial or not. Nice. Just set up a new alt account today. Just have one thing left to do in the tutorial, and then I can look at matches later. Yep, there you go. There you go. I guess we can go ahead and launch the tutorial real quick. I haven't seen the tutorial in over a year. I don't know if they've even changed it at all. I just realized I probably should have left my playlist on my Battletech playlist, because YouTube is going to flag this video when I upload it.